tuning up your work week. It's MRN Motorsports Monday, presented by Outback Steakhouse and brought to you by Hercules Tires and Grunt Style Apparel. Warning, please keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times and do not feed the host. Here's Woody Cain and Joey Meier.
MRN Motorsports Monday presented by Outback Steakhouse. Round 1 of the Cup playoffs complete. Round 1, or the first try at Charlotte Motor Speedway's new Roval, is in the books as well. And what a race it was, what a weekend it was all across NASCAR Nation. We're here to talk about it with you and look ahead at round number 2. What's coming up? We head to Dover first. We'll hear from a couple of drivers, Martin Truex Jr. and Joey Logano, toward the end of the program about what they think about Dover and the next round. So, your guy comes down leading late. He is side by side with Kyle Larson. Kyle Busch is there. Next thing you know, we have a massive pileup going into turn 1. All those guys going for it. And I think, to me, yeah, mistakes were made. Yeah, there was a learning curve there. But I think it was refreshing to see everybody going for it.
The 2, 42, 21, 6, 18, 8, 13, 10, 43, 34, 12, 31, and 7 were involved in that wreck.
In that late wreck.
Going less than 60 miles an hour. We weren't even going fast. That's the funny thing about it all is from my standpoint, watching us go down to turn 1 and seeing the tire smoke, which off the left front tire, which is a dead giveaway that we're not slowing down.
Yeah,
and then
not enough.
And then seeing our car not making that gradual left turn into turn 1, and then watching everybody follow us. The best word that came to mind that I heard last night was a bunch of lemmings.
yeah, that's true.
And Todd Gordon told his crew chief Todd Gordon told Joey that Brad essentially just drove everybody off the cliff, and they all followed.
They all went right with him.
Followed.
It's like one of those Nat Geo films, you know, where they all go after and off the cliff.
Yeah, we were in good position. Made a couple of mistakes earlier. Paul's through strategy was able to get the 2-car back up on the lead lap, able to lead the race, restart at the end. All we got to do is get into turn 1. We felt comfortable on a fuel strategy. Once the yellow came out, we felt like we were in really good shape.
So could you have made it?
Once the caution came out,
caution.
Yeah, we were highly confident.
To go as hard as you want.
Yes,
okay.
Exactly right. Before that, we were still skeptical based on it's hard to tell because there's no
data.
No data,
yeah.
no press data. But Brad's one of the top 2 or 3 guys saving gas, and his procedure that he's very efficient on the throttle. It's one of the things we've been very, very good at being.
Because I was surprised. Everybody was saying they're close, and how hard the 2 and the 42 were racing when everybody was supposedly in fuel-saving mode.
So because the spotter situation was different, normally Derek Nealon spots for the 42. Well, he was in a different location. Josh Wise is representing the 42 on the roof. He comes down to me right before that caution came out, and he's like, "Hey, when are you guys pitting?" I looked at him, I said, "Lap 109." he said, "Okay," and he walked away and went,
he's doing the math.
Oh, yeah. Well, he realized 109 was the end of the race.
Yeah.
We weren't pitting. We had nothing to lose, everything
You
to
already
gain.
had a win.
Exactly right. And then that caution came out, really put us in. But the restart took out a bunch of drivers. Man, the 42 Rex can make the race, cannot make the race. He's in, he's out. Jimmy Johnson's going to finish second. No, he's going to win the race. No, he's not. He's out of the playoffs. I mean, what an emotional last lap for the 48. The 10 got in because of the tiebreaker. The 42 made in because of the tiebreaker.
3 guys wound up tied at the end of that thing for that final playoff spot.
Over 25 races later.
Wow.
Isn't that
Isn't
amazing?
that something? Yeah, 1 point earlier in the season could have made all the difference.
Was it a perfect weekend? No. Was it a really good weekend based on the Roval and the experience and the experiment? 100,000% true.
Yeah.
And again, we heard from NASCAR talking about adding some laps for the Xfinity race, but I really thought that
I don't know. I'm kind of torn.
I thought the length of the Cup race was really perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. So we mentioned that big wreck that your guy got mixed up in. Then you touched on the one where Truex is leading after that. Jimmy Johnson is right with him, and he wants to go for the win. But had he stayed in second place, he would have coasted into the next round of the playoffs. He had raced his way in. Instead, he tries to pass, tries to stay off Truex, winds up turning himself backwards, clipping Truex. Then here comes Ryan Blaney. Thank you very much. Sails by and gets the victory.
Twice we've seen that this year.
Yeah, well, he gets it, and he moves on. First win in over a year for Ryan Blaney. Afterwards, here's what he said.
The strategy for the race was, really don't give up stage points and try to maximize on that side of it. And we did a really good job of the strategy of being able to win that second stage and stretch it on fuel and win that stage. That was really big for us. That kind of set up our whole day. Even though we had to go to the back and pit again, we were able to kind of put ourselves in a spot to where towards the end of the day, we were just racing the 88 and 14 and, really big to be able to win for Roger. Obviously that's not the way I'd want to do it. Obviously I want to go out and dominate the race. Whenever you win something like this, it's a weird feeling. I don't really want to call it an undeserved feeling, but it's just kind of an odd feeling. But we put ourselves in a good spot. But no, it was worked out for us. But yeah, when I was running third, I was just thinking about points. We were good on points, and I was just cool with riding around in third. But then that situation happened, and we happened to be there.
It'd be really, really cool if you could buy that race car that he won with as a diecast.
You can get your version of that race car.
No way.
Head over to Plan B Sales to get the winning diecast, Ryan Blaney's win at the Roval at Charlotte, the first ever. That's the first Cup victory at that track. There you see it. You can get that and all the race winning and other diecasts available at planbsales.com. That one is surely a collector's item. First time anybody's been on that track, and I think it's safe to say that experiment won't be scrapped. We will be seeing that again.
No, one of the things over at Team Penske from that Plan B Sales diecast, it's a really good-looking car. It's an unusual paint scheme, but also it represents, like you said, the first Roval ever. We've never had a Roval before, and then Ryan Blaney ends up coming home the winner. So you can add that to your collection of 65 Truex, Kevin Harvick, and Kyle Busch cars.
Yeah, it's been a lot of them this year for sure. We got a big show coming up on MRN Motorsports Monday. We'll look at the Xfinity race as well over at Charlotte Motor Speedway, where Chase Briscoe wins that one, and what a feel-good story that was. Always cool to see those types of situations play out. We'll talk a little bit more about racing at the Roval. On-track, off-track is coming up, and we'll look ahead at Dover and the next round, round 2, the round of 12 in the Cup playoffs.
Grunt style. The American fighting spirit is in everything we make. We are 500 patriots and veterans strong, bringing clothing manufacturing back to the United States of America. Always moving forward, never retreating, never giving up. We are Grunt Style, and this we'll defend. Get yours at gruntstyle.com.
I'm not blooming good, I'm blooming great. Put a shrimp on the Barbie and sizzle my steak. Woo, I want that onion to bloom, and it get in my senses like a sonic boom. No rules, just right. So bold, so nice, and I'm so ready for that Outback steak tonight. Outback Steakhouse, that's what it's all about. Outback Steakhouse, blooming great.
The roar of motorcycles takes over Daytona International Speedway, October 18th through the 21st, with the return of Biketoberfest. Racing action features top riders from CCS and Azra as they take on Daytona's challenging 3.51-mile road course. Stroll through the area's largest motorcycle marketplace and enjoy Saturday's Hot Leathers fashion show and bikini contest in Harley-Davidson Thunder Alley. Marketplace admission and parking are free. For race tickets, call 1-800-PIT-SHOP or visit DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
I'm Kevin Harvick, and it's another Bloomin' Monday. Ask for your free Bloomin' Onion tonight at Outback Steakhouse. Now it's back to Woody Cain and Joey Meier.
Kevin Harvick comes home with a 9th place finish in the first race ever at Charlotte Motor Speedway's Roval. That means Bloomin' Monday. Go by and get your free Bloomin' Onion with any purchase there. Purchase a meal, they'll give you that free Bloomin' Onion. Kevin Harvick is killing the onion market, and he's costing Outback a lot of money, but it's to your benefit. Go by and let them know, hey, I saw that race. Kevin Harvick, top 10 finish. Give me that onion. Ryan Blaney wins. Jamie McMurray, a good run. Clint Boyer, Alex Bowman squeaks into the playoffs. One of those guys who was on the bubble there toward the end of that race and made it really compelling. Kurt Busch, the pole sitter. Good run for Chase Elliott. How about A.J. Allmendinger, a 7th-place run in a battered car. Jimmy Johnson, boy, had the spot, went for the win. Now he's out of the playoffs. Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano, they're your top 10. Martin Truex Jr. already was locked in. Eric Almirola, one of the guys who was tied for that last spot. Your guy, Brad Keselowski, already had the win, so he's moving on. Kyle Busch already moving on as well. Now we head to round number 2, the round of 12. 4 guys are eliminated. 12 guys move on.
Yeah, the only thing we ask when you go to Outback and get your free Bloomin' Onion, don't play with your Joey.
Don't play with your Joey. Yeah. That's
here.
reserved
that
for
right
you.
Here. Right.
Under controlled conditions, just like on those commercials. Closed course, do not try
at home.
Professional
exactly
driver.
Right. An amazing turn of events there at the last lap was unbelievable. Who was in, who was out, how'd they get in, how'd they get out. if somebody was unhappy with just the lap, like if you just tuned in for the last lap,
Yeah, you're losing your mind.
that was worth watching the entire race. A very unusual event. A.J. Allmendinger finds out he's out of the car for next year, still has a strong performance. And the guys that all around, Alex Bowman, it's funny, he gets called a rookie all year long because we forget he's run everywhere else, but he's had a great year. And now they're in the playoffs. Him and Chase are now the Hendrick Motorsports Brigade, right? Because with Jimmy Johnson not being in. So it'll be interesting to see how the next round, which would be really good with Dover, Talladega, and Kansas, that's going to be a really strong group of cars because we have 2.5 miles essentially and Talladega.
What about the dynamic of, before Talladega was a cutoff race, as you see the point standings there and where everybody ranks, and those bottom 4, of course, do not move on. But we've got Dover, Talladega, and Kansas coming up now. Talladega used to be a cutoff race, and there was a lot of hue and cry about let's don't have that wild card be the cutoff event. It's still there, but it's a middle race now. Does that change the thinking, or is it still got to get one coming up at Dover or got to get one at Kansas because you don't want to count on Talladega?
So knowing that Team Penske is I'm not saying we're behind, but we feel like we're A- relative to the good 1.5 mile cars. We're not A's or we're not A+. We're A-. We're good, but we're not great. We go to Talladega, we're great at Talladega. So even though it's the second race, and we've been fortunate enough to win 2 of those cutoff races back when it was race number 3 in the round, I think we still go there with that same mentality. But there's drivers that know, hey, if I run good at Dover, hey, if I run good at Kansas, I can just run okay at Talladega. I don't need to make a mistake. I don't need to be wrecked out early. And I think you're going to see a little bit of that playing out because now you have a little more control. If you can get out of Talladega without any problems, then you plan on going to Kansas and running really well.
And you've got a chance to recover if you do have a bad day. You've got one more swing at it to make it a little better. Then you think about the guys who are really good at Talladega who are not in the playoffs, and I'm thinking specifically of Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Absolutely. David Reagan.
David Reagan's good there. A lot of different guys can win, so that's going to be something to watch for sure. All right, let's move on to on-track, off-track now, where we discuss some things going well in the sport and some things not going quite so well. For you, Joey, let's start with on-track this time. What do you got?
We have a bunch of young drivers over in the Xfinity Series, and for the whole year long, we've had this argument about Cup drivers and Cup teams and new drivers and new teams in the Xfinity Series. Chase Briscoe is just a really good feel-good story. Word in the garage is that he's getting ready to sign or trying to get very close signing a full-time deal next year, possibly with Stuart Haas in that 98 car. And he was able to get in that car this weekend. He's been sharing a ride over at the 60 car all year long with Austin Cindric and Ty Majeski.
The Ford development program.
Exactly right. Unfortunately, the 60 car, and nothing to do with the actual 60 car, but the luck that they've had.
It seems jinxed.
Yes, exactly right. It is a black cat under a ladder on Friday the 13th.
With a broken mirror and everything.
It's terrible. But to see Chase Briscoe be able to get the opportunity in that 98 car and really make no mistakes, I found it interesting listening to that race. All they kept saying is 80%. 80%. Don't go 100. We're going to turn you loose. Chase like, don't turn me loose, because he knew at the minute you start pushing, that's when the mistakes come. He drove that last portion of that race flawlessly and had really good guys. With Justin Marks his last race he's ever going to run. He's a really good road course racer.
At least on the NASCAR side.
Right, yeah. And Austin Cindric, really strong road course racer, and neither one of those guys could put enough pressure on Chase Briscoe to make those mistakes. So kudos to those guys. They deserve that win, and hopefully that opportunity will start out in 2019 for him.
And you see Ryan Preece there. You mentioned earlier A.J. Allmendinger. Ryan Preece going to go in the 47 car next year. Christopher Bell continues to run really well. Matt Tiff, Cole Custer. Good run for Kaz Grala as well. Tyler Reddick, and then Daniel Hemrick, who's going to go to the 31 on the Cup side next year at Richard Childress Racing to take the seat vacated by Ryan Newman, who's headed over to Roush Fenway Racing, and the game of musical chairs continue. All right,
we got Dover. Dover's the cutoff race for those guys. That's going to be a big race for them.
Fun. Yep. Absolutely. All right, for me, on track is the Roval itself. A lot of trepidation going in, a lot of guys not sure, a lot of guys not wanting to have another wild card be a cutoff race. All in all, I think everybody has to be pleased, A, with the effort for actually getting it done in the first place, and B, for how it played out. I think we're going to be back at the Roval. Yeah, there may be some tweaks. Who knows? There was also a lot of talk about, will this expand now to other tracks? Will we see this at other 1.5 miles that have the potential of a road course in the middle? Marcus Smith said he hopes not. He hopes it stays just unique to Charlotte, and I think that's something to keep an eye on as we go forward.
The Truck Series has Eldora. we don't need 16 dirt tracks. The Cup Series now has the Roval. That's the personality. That's the identifying mark of the Cup Series for the Roval to be in Charlotte. And again, it was a perfect weekend for those guys to put on display a brand new track. There were so many variables. Realistically, the only thing they had to make the adjustment was the tire barrier on the exit of the backstretch chicane. Other than that, the track was in really good shape. Kudos to Marcus Smith and everybody over at Charlotte Motor Speedway for this experiment. Maybe not 100%, but it was 99.5 without a doubt.
Yeah, and I think everybody across the industry and even casual fans were kind of captivated by that race. It really was something that we look forward to seeing how it was going to play out. Now we know we'll see it back for sure. I think that's definitely in the cards. I don't think they're going to say, yeah, no, we're all done with that. It's something that we're going to continue to see. All right, off track. Let's move to what was not quite so well in your world.
You know, if you have the opportunity to go back and listen in 2018 on this show, we've talked numerous times about how not winning makes you end up pointing fingers at other people, and by winning, it removes all that. We had that over at the 2-car. Not that you're questioning everybody, but you're looking in the mirror going, I know what I'm doing. What is everybody else doing, right or wrong? Jimmy Johnson's team has been experiencing that now for over a year. It's been over a year since they've won the race. Coming to the checkered flag, they're second in points. Man, they're clearly going to get in the playoffs. No problems. Jimmy Johnson is so enamored with winning a race. It just gives you an idea. He's going to go into that last chicane, get by Truex, come out the winner, make the playoffs. Everything is great. It didn't work out that way.
There was one flaw in that plan.
Not that he planned on it, but that was one of the largest mistakes Jimmy's ever made as a 7-time champion. And I think today, I'm not sure he's regretting it because he wanted to win that race, but the actual accountability of that mistake was monumental.
It's got to be going through his mind, what if?
I should have, could have, would have. Had I known I was going to wreck, I wouldn't have taken the opportunity. He didn't think he was going to wreck. He got in a little bit deep. Actually hit Truex backwards.
Yeah, see, I think that's what he messed himself up even worse by trying to stay off of Truex.
Yes.
Then he gets backwards and clips him anyway.
Yep. So it was just amazing to me to see when you talk about, again, the pressure that these teams are feeling to make the playoffs. From a sponsorship standpoint, this is the last year at Lowe's is going to be there. From a bonus standpoint, drivers, crew chiefs, crew members get bonuses for making second-round playoffs. That's the way the system works. So there was a lot on the line for them not to make the playoffs. And I hate it for those guys because they deserved to be there in reference to other teams that are in. But that was a really big mistake on Jimmy's fault.
To me, though, that's what makes it dramatic. It makes it more fun to watch, you know, where there's a cutoff, sort of like the NCAA tournament. You know, it's that finality of the moment that kind of brings out unexpected events, unexpected situations in guys, and how they react is compelling to watch.
You know, I bet after this day, maybe Jimmy Johnson's feeling a little blue.
You think? He might be. I see where you're going.
Blue?
I see where you're going. That's BLUE, like the color.
Blue, like the color.
Yeah.
I bet he's feeling a little blue.
I bet he is.
Okay.
Hey guys, remember the days when you were always ready to go? Now you can increase your performance and get that extra confidence in bed. Listen up, BlueChew.com, that's blue like the color blue. BlueChew.com brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, so you know that they work. You can take them anytime, day or night, even on a full stomach, and since they're chewable, they can work up to twice as fast as a pill, so you can be ready whenever the opportunity arises. Blue Chew is prescribed online and shipped straight to your door in a discreet package, so no in-person doctor's visit, no waiting in the pharmacy, and best of all, no more awkwardness. They're made in the USA, and since Blue Chew prepares and ships direct, they're cheaper than a pharmacy. Right now, we've got a special deal for our listeners. Visit BlueChew.com and get your first shipment free when using our special promo code RACING. Just pay $5 shipping. Again, that's BLUEChew.com. Promo code RACING to try it free. Blue Chew, it's the better, cheaper, faster choice.
I'm not blooming good, I'm blooming great. Put a shrimp on the barbie and sizzle my steak. Woo, I want that onion to bloom, and it get in my senses like a sonic boom. No rules, just right. So bold, so nice, and I'm so ready for that Outback steak tonight. Outback Steakhouse, that's what it's all about. Outback Steakhouse, blooming great.
Chris Crockett, straight from the NASCAR stands, here with another member of our Toyota racing family, Jason.
Hi there.
Oh, you seem impatient.
Oh, well, I've been holding it in for a while.
A while?
Since it started.
The race?
No, the season.
Wow. Guess you don't want to miss any action.
Nope, I don't.
Oh, did you just see Denny Hamlin take the lead?
I haven't been taking my eyes off him.
Jason, you don't look so good. Can I offer you some water?
Absolutely not.
NASCAR and Toyota Racing. With a family like this, who knows the places we'll go in the playoffs? Learn more at toyotaracing.com. Toyota, let's go places. NASCAR is a registered trademark of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, Inc.
Citywide to countryside, whatever you drive, wherever you go. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading warranty to get you there, no matter where the road takes you. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
If this were a book, it'd be called NASCAR with Dummies. And no, turning the brightness up on your screen will not help. Here's more Motorsports Monday with Joey and Woody.
Round one in the books for the Cup playoffs as we head to Dover coming up this week. However, as you mentioned, for the Xfinity Series, Dover is a cutoff race like we just saw at the Roval, some finality to it. 4 guys will be eliminated. We'll have 8 left after Dover. Some guys in pretty good shape, some guys not quite so much.
You know, you have the lower funded team of Ross Chastain. He's the, we always talk about the Cinderella story of what's going on. And there he is sitting right there at a +9, racing against the powerhouse of Team Penske and Austin Cindric, who is in his first full-time year over in the Xfinity Series. Ross is doing an amazing job over there. But the guy that's right there on the edge also is Justin Allgaier, your regular season champion.
Yeah.
But he's had just terrible luck these first couple of races with being wrecked. Ryan Truex, Ryan Reed, Brandon Jones trying to work their way in. But that cutoff line from 8th to 9th is very, very intriguing with Ross Chastain and Austin Cindric.
And look at Elliott Sadler right there with Allgaier as well in terms of points above the cutoff.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Elliott Sadler and Justin Allgaier were my 2 picks to be at least 2 of the drivers in the Final Four. But unfortunately, bad luck has gotten them. They need to really come to Dover with really strong finishes. Potentially, I see Justin winning that race to make his way in because that's the way they're going to be.
Yeah.
But then if he's winning and getting in, somebody else is not going to win and get knocked out. I'd like to see, obviously, I want to see Team Penske do well.
Mm-hmm.
Austin Cindric in his first full year.
We should note as well that Austin Cindric has not driven a Team Penske car full-time. He's been in different cars. That was driver points, not owner points.
Exactly right. And Ross Chastain has done the same thing as well.
Mm-hmm.
He's driven 2 different cars to win, to get in,
Mm-hmm.
but he's done really well in points. So the JD Motorsports, you almost want to see him go to Homestead.
Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, you really want to see him go to Homestead. That would be, we talk about Cinderella stories, that would be a Cinderella story. But in order for him to get to Homestead, everybody else, 4 or 5 other drivers would have to have catastrophic events to go on to not make the last round in Homestead. But it's going to be a tough race, and Dover is not an easy place.
No, it isn't.
It's not like we can go hide out there. We can't hide. You don't hide out at Dover.
What are the differences in a Cup car versus an Xfinity car at Dover?
You're going to run a lot more wide open on the Xfinity side. On the Xfinity car, you're running wide open almost the whole lap. Very, 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 if any at all, braking. A lot of momentum changes, and they're obviously a little bit lighter and stuff. But the experience level there for Dover is a big deal because that track moves around.
Mm-hmm.
It does take rubber. The track gets wide, and the experience level. In other words, an Austin Cindric needs to be able to be comfortable to get off the bottom because if everybody's on the bottom, you're not passing them.
Yeah.
So that's really the difference of the Xfinity guys is they don't have the experience or knowledge to be able to move around as easily as the Cup guys do.
You brought up a point that's always been interesting to me about Dover, and I've talked with a lot of crew chiefs and drivers about this. The phenomenon of this giant concrete track. It looks like a giant Bristol. It's not, but that's the way it looks. So you put down a lot of rubber under green in particular. Then when there's a caution, they kind of pick that back up. So the track doesn't stay on a line like this and change. It kind of goes like this through the day. What about that phenomenon, particularly on restarts?
It's interesting because then the bottom of the track has a lot of grip until it gets rubbered up, and then you try to move around, like you're saying. So the track is constantly changing. There's not a smooth trend from the beginning of the race to the end of the race that we see at a lot of other tracks that take
particularly
rubber.
asphalt.
Exactly right. So this track you have to monitor it. Spotters are talking about, hey, don't forget. And especially it's important because the Xfinity guys don't have a lot of sets of tires.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have, especially if there's cautions, some restarts on older tires. Those
mixed through the field.
Those older tires are hot and you're under caution. That's when you're really picking up the rubber. Well, if you're picking up the rubber, it means it's on your tires.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do a really aggressive job of cleaning up your tires before you go back to green. And we see incidences all the time. guys go down barreling off in turn one, didn't clean their tires up, wash up the track, and potentially wreck.
You've been a big advocate of thinking that Elliott Sadler makes it to the Final Four, goes to race for the championship at Homestead, Miami, coming up in a few weeks. We all thought that Justin Allgaier was going to be there. Then he has a little bit of trouble resetting now with what we've got in the points. Do you change your idea there, or your thinking of who the favorites are?
You know, I won't change until Elliott and Justin are gone. I'm sitting here looking, Christopher Bell, Daniel Tyler, Cole Custer. Those guys, they can't buy beer yet. You know what I mean? That's a very young crowd of drivers.
Yeah.
And I really truthfully believe Justin Allgaier's finished second or third the last couple of years. Elliott Sadler was that close to winning a championship. I really thought those guys would have a really good battle in Homestead. But right now, how do you take Daniel Hemrick out, who just signed a Cup deal? And he even said, and this is what we see from these drivers, he even said being in that Cup car slowed everything down in the Xfinity car. So now he goes with a confidence level of going to Dover, and things might be a little bit slower for him, which is an advantage.
Yeah.
Because your brain is way ahead of the car. Christopher Bell, how do you take those guys out of the
He's
equation?
been just solid everywhere, really, except for road courses.
Exactly right. Cole Custer, again, Stuart Haas, Tyler Reddick, another junior motorsports car. Every year, those guys are going to be in it. And until Elliott Sadler is out of it, that's my pick for the championship at Homestead. And I'll be extremely disappointed, as will Hilly and Junior Motorsports. But I still think he's the most experienced driver in the field. And I think at some point in time that matters.
Yeah, I think you're right. Xfinity Series headed to Dover coming up this weekend as well. We'll have that race for you right here on the Motor Racing Network. The Bar Harbor 200 starts Saturday on MRN at 3 Eastern Time. One more time out coming up here on MRN Motorsports Monday. But before we go, you may not be a professional race car driver, but AAA can help keep you and your car on track with tools to help you win every stage of car ownership. Visit AAA.com/yourcar. Be right back.
Are you a serious diecast collector? Do you have a favorite driver? Are you looking for a gift for a race fan? No matter what the question, the answer is always PlanBSales.com. Plan B has all the latest in diecast from Lionel and apparel, artwork, and other items for your favorite driver in NASCAR or other forms of racing. Go to PlanBSales.com, key your driver's name in the handy search window, and look at all the options. Your one stop for diecast and other motorsports collectibles is PlanBSales.com.
Grunt style. The American fighting spirit is in everything we make. We are 500 patriots and veterans strong, bringing clothing manufacturing back to the United States of America. Always moving forward, never retreating, never giving up. We are Grunt Style, and this we'll defend. Get yours at gruntstyle.com.
I'm not blooming good, I'm blooming great. Put a shrimp on the barbie and sizzle my steak. Woo, I want that onion to bloom, and it get in my senses like a sonic boom. No rules, just right. So cold, so nice, and I'm so ready for that Outback steak tonight. Outback Steakhouse, that's what it's all about. Outback Steakhouse, blooming great.
MRN Motorsports Monday, solving all of NASCAR's problems for over 6 years, 1 week at a time. Once again, here's Woody and Joey.
Back on MRN Motorsports Monday after the week that was at Charlotte Motor Speedway's new Roval. Headed to Dover this weekend where the Cup and Xfinity Series will race. The Xfinity guys have a cutoff race, opening race of round number 2 for the Cup guys. And we've got a couple of them to help us break that down. Martin Truex Jr. and Joey Logano talking about round 2 and Dover specifically.
Yeah, we'll just see. Hopefully, we can do what we did the first round and have 2 really good first races and, not have to worry about it. I feel like Dover and Kansas are both places we can go and win at. Our team's been doing a really good job of being prepared and showing up to the track ready. I feel like the first 2 races of the playoffs, we were in position to win, and we're doing all the right things. So we'll just we'll keep doing what we're doing. And
a lot of race teams develop their cars and find something that gets applied to their cars so quickly these days that it can change from race to race. So I feel like we're closer than we've been in the last year and a half. So that gives me some confidence for sure. So like I said, if we get through this race and get to the next round, and then kind of have that reset, get through the next couple races, and see where we're at. So I feel like our speed on the normal racetracks is about 5th to 8th. Sometimes a little better than that recently, maybe 3rd to 8th, depending on the weekend. So I feel like we've made some good progress there. So with the right circumstances, we can win a lot of races. We just got to get maybe just a little bit quicker.
And I think a lot of guys are in that same boat. They just want a little bit more to get them to that next round.
What's interesting to note is, so now we're in the playoffs. It's not like these race teams have built all their cars.
Mm-hmm.
The technology and the evolution of this car changes on a daily basis, a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. We are building cars. Stuart Haas, whoever's building race cars, is not looking. We don't have our cars built for Homestead. We're still developing our cars for the next week, for the week beyond. And we're trying to show up with new stuff. Every race team showing up with new stuff. And that's what Joey alluded to. You never know where you're going to be. It's not like we're racing the same cars every week and we're like, well, we're a third-place car. Well, we're a third-place car. Every week you show up with something new. Well, the other team shows up with something new. And it's that constant battle over and over. To Dover, the next 2 races, Dover, Talladega, and Kansas, of those 2, you have essentially mile and a half type tracks.
Mm-hmm.
That's where these teams are shining at. Talladega's, the rules haven't changed. We're going to show up with really good piece. We have good engines. But those 2 mile and a half tracks really allow the teams to explore that evolution of these race cars.
To that point, if you come back and you're a playoff team, an elite team, and you come back with the same car you ran at Dover earlier this year, do you get your butt kicked?
You're behind.
Yeah.
You're behind. But my question will be, Jimmy Johnson gets a win. I'm telling you, now that the pressure is off, those guys go for a win. Dover is a great track for him.
Yeah, it's fantastic for him.
He's won like 65 times.
Yeah,
right?
something crazy
just
like
a
that.
Dover,
Yeah.
right? So I believe he can show up. I still have a lot of faith in what they've done.
All right, we got a lot coming up for you this week on MRN. Make sure you're with us at MRN.com for all the shows across the board. Friday, Cup qualifying 3:40 Eastern Time at MRN.com. Saturday, the Xfinity Series race, the Bar Harbor 200, 3 o'clock Eastern Time Saturday. Sunday, the Monster Energy Cup Series, the Gander Outdoors 400, 2 o'clock Eastern Time right here on the Motor Racing Network Sunday. Don't forget NASCAR Live every Tuesday at 7 o'clock Eastern. Go get your bloomin' onion. I'm Woody. He's Joey. We'll see you right back here next week.